The Bible is clear that the most important doctrine of our faith is the resurrection of Christ. For without it, we are yet in our sins. In fact, one cannot even obtain salvation without believing that God raised Jesus from the dead. Jehovah Witnesses claim that the man that was born Jesus was only a man that gave his body as a ransom for Adam's sin. Now, this video will not go into detail concerning those gotcha verses used by Jehovah's Witnesses to support Jesus being raised as a spirit. I'll do a separate video on that. But the main focus of this video is to simply prove that Jesus today has a real flesh and bones body. I'm going to come at a completely different angle and even use their own website to prove my case. There are two solid arguments that I am aware of, and I'm sure there's more, but I want to touch in passing. And then I will mention my argument that comes at a different angle. In the Gospel of John, chapter 2, Jesus said that he would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. The Jews then answered and said it took 46 years to build it, and you're going to rebuild it in 3 days. However, Jesus spoke of the temple of his body. This is a huge problem for the Watchtower, for what was killed was his body. Thus, his body that was killed is what would be rebuilt. This is an excellent argument, but not the one I'm going to rely on. Now, I am also aware of Luke's account of the resurrection in chapter 24, that a spirit has not flesh and bones, as Jesus declared to his disciples after the resurrection. Now, Jesus said a spirit has not flesh and bones, then who are we to challenge Jesus and thus proving Jesus rose bodily from the dead? I will deal in another video the gotcha verses of 1 Peter 3:18 and some from 1 Corinthians chapter 15. However, here is my very simple rebuttal from a totally different angle to prove that Jesus had real flesh and bone body. Under their website, under glossary, Son of Man, quote, an expression found 80 times in the Gospels. It applies to Jesus Christ and shows that by means of fleshly birth, he became a human and was not simply a spirit creature with a materialized body, end quote. All I'm going to do is show that Jesus is still the Son of Man, and by that definition, that would mean he still has flesh and bones. Example, Matthew 16:13, Jesus said, whom to men say that I, the Son of Man, am. So Jesus clearly calls himself a human with flesh during his earthly ministry. Matthew 17:9. He says, tell the vision to no man until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. Now, if the Son of Man, meaning a fleshy human being, never rose from the dead, then why would Jesus say this to his disciples? Matthew 19:28, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory. This is speaking way in the future, speaking of his 1,000-year reigns, and he's still called the Son of Man. Matthew 24:27, for as lightning cometh out of the east and shineth unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. His coming will be visible, since a fleshy human being is visible from a certain distance. So, if the Watchtower own website admits that the Son of Man is not a spirit, and Jesus is called the Son of Man after the resurrection, then why do they continue to deny who Jesus claims he is? 1 John chapter 2, verse 23. Whosoever denieth the Son, the same has not the Father. But he that acknowledgeth the Son has the Father also.